It's full-fledged summer now, man. Tell you what.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I see that you're coming in casual today.
Yeah, I just got out of the shower. Not going to waste a full shirt.
Did you wear the tank top in the shower?
Of course.
Okay. You know what's funny is I'm sitting here before we start. I'm sitting like the way the camera is set. It's right at my PC. So the audience is seeing my computer's POV of me. When I'm playing video games. But I'm sitting here before we started recording. I was waiting for you, and I was wearing my wife beater, and like you told me you were coming on. I was like, yeah, I should probably throw a shirt on. I'm just be sitting here in my wife beater. It's kind of
and then here I am.
And then I'm like, God damn it, that would have been fun. It would have been funny too if we started the episode both of us wearing a tank top and be like, well, one of us is gonna have to change. So today I'm drinking I think it's called an apple pie. I don't know if it's the original mix, but I got some Red's hard apple, and I threw in the last of my Southern Comfort, both of which separately I just do not like at all, but together is pretty good.
Hey, if it does it for you, that's all that counts.
Why do I have red apples in my apartment? Well, it's a good question. I sent you that link of that Bill Burr commercial doing the SNL, the fake commercial.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah,
of the October beer or whatever. I had a real life situation of that. I had some friends over a couple weeks ago, and I told them all, I'm like, hey, I'm making food. You guys bring beer. I got some whiskey, but I got some Miller and some Coors, but bring beer. So none of them brought anything. We decided we decided to walk to the store. They all got here. We decided to walk to the store, and they all proceeded to buy those red apples, whatever. One of my friends got one of those, what are they called? High Noon, the vodka soda kind of things. So it's not technically, yeah, I don't know if it's technically a seltzer because it's just vodka and soda, but
it is.
It's
vodka based, yeah.
So what the bitch of it was is that we started the evening. I was saying, like, okay, you know how in Stater Brothers they have like a whole aisle for like craft beers. They got IPAs, they got seasonals, they got that mix, whatever. All that shit is now just seltzers, White Claw, Trulies, Third One, all the other like seltzers that are in there, and it's bullshit. And they're like, "What, for real?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's nothing but seltzers." And so we go, and I like grabbed some beer, and what do? They all bought seltzers. It was pretty hilarious. But
yeah. I'm still not sure if I'm on board the seltzer train, but I've accepted that it's the thing now.
They're not bad.
It depends. So I couldn't, the White Claws or whatever, Trulies or whatever, but if you go, I might have said this before, if you go to like two smaller breweries that actually use good ingredients, like Brewery X in Anaheim, they have really good seltzers. Tastes like juice.
Shout out to Brewery X. It's really good. I actually have one of those left in my fridge, saving it for a special occasion.
Yeah, even like No Clue and Rancho, like they made a couple seltzers, and like I said, I'm not a seltzer person, but they tasted pretty good.
Really?
It wasn't like White Claw, which is pretty much the LaCroix of seltzers.
LaCroix seltzer, yeah.
But
yeah, it's the Mike's Hard of today. It's the Zima of today. It's the now it's seltzers.
There's always the trends. The trends come and go all the time. So
you know what doesn't change? It's just beer and whiskey and
good old fashioned beer.
Good old fashioned beer and whiskey. So. How you doing? How's what's new? What's last time we talked we were, I don't know. What's going on in the world of Mike?
The same shit. Same shit as always. Got bit by my in-laws' dog last week.
Oh shit. Okay.
That was fun. And then yeah. I had another story just while we're sitting here riffing. Riften,
a previous Riften is that town in Skyrim. It's a good game.
Sure. If you recall a few weeks ago, it might have been a month or two now, I ranted like fresh, like it just happened about how the dude at the store just like started talking to me and he was fucking weird. And
yes.
So I honestly, I'm like, I've always been told and I've always thought like we're both trained actors. We know what we look like. We know our type. Yeah. I've always thought I looked like an asshole so people don't fuck with me. And for years that was the case. Where like just people in public would look at me and say, "Oh, he looks kind of mean," just because I have resting dick face. and like I said in that episode, we were talking about it. like the last 5-6 years, for some reason, people just talk to me.
Okay.
That I don't. I'm just like, why?
What? Leave me alone. What? Okay.
And so this is, I think, early last week or 2 weeks ago. I almost brought it up when we recorded one day, but I was like, it's too close to the other incident that people will think I'm lying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it happened too often. So this guy, he's when I moved into this house, my paranoid side, I'm like, he's gonna see this, but he's not gonna watch this. He was the first person we met when we moved in, because day one we came to the house, popped open some champagne, was sitting on the front door, near the front door, and he walked up. He's like, "Oh, you guys bought the house?" Talked to him, whatever.
Cool.
And then, so my in-laws stayed here about a month or two ago when they were looking for a house down here. And my future father-in-law is one of those guys, and I'm going to make fun of him right now, and I've made fun of him to his face, though. So it's not like I'm talking shit.
So we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah, we're okay. No, but he's one of those guys definitely that, like, wants to meet the neighbors.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've lived here a year and a half, and I've maybe said a total of 20 sentences to all the neighbors combined.
Okay.
Like, I just don't talk to people. Like, I'm an introvert. And so I guess when my father-in-law was walking around or something, the guy, let's call him James, not his real name, but James.
Okay.
Said something like, hey, and they talked for a second, and I guess, the pop-in-law was still like, yeah, this is my daughter and her future husband's house. We're staying here. We're looking for a house, et cetera, et cetera. You're probably going to see more of me, haha. So I got home a couple weeks ago, and I had like a bottle of soda that I was drinking on the car ride home. So I was just walking, I know you've seen the house, the end of the driveway, throw it away before I went inside. And his house is kind of like on that side of our house, across the street. But so he sees me, and he's like, hey. He kind of gave me the wave, the neighbor wave. And so I gave him the neighbor wave. But then he started crossing the street to talk. And I was like, oh, okay, I have to talk to someone now.
Yeah, here we go.
I thought at first, because I'll just go into it. So he was like, hey, man, so like, what's going on? He's like, what was your name again? I was like, Mike. He's like, okay, my name's James. And I was like, yeah, I remember. And he's like, yeah, so what happened? I talked to your father-in-law a few weeks ago, and he said that he was going to be around a lot more often. I haven't seen him. What gives? And I was kind of like, oh, yeah, well, actually, they just found a house. They're actually moving down here next week. They're going to be staying with us. You'll probably see him next week, et cetera, et cetera. And he was like, yeah, he said that you own a restaurant or something. I was like, yeah, and I actually had the bar's hat on, and I was like, yeah, this is the place. It's my family's place. We've owned it for a while. And he's like, oh, where is it? And I was like, oh, it's out in Rancho off of Date Creek exit. And so I thought this was going to wind up quick neighbor conversation. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to be actually going that way a lot lately, or a lot in the coming weeks, so I might have to stop in there for some lunch or something. And I was like, yeah, and I kind of gave him some directions, and I was like, yeah, go for it. That'd be great. If you're going that way, you might as well, And he's like, yeah, definitely. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate why I have to head that way, but since I'm heading that way, and I was like, oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I have enough experience with stranger talk that I know not to ask direct questions.
Yeah.
So I forgot what I said, but I didn't say like what happened or why. I didn't say that. It was completely him just prompting it. And he eventually tells me, he's like, just to people who are listening, who are out of state, might not know the geography, but he's like, yeah, so my mom lives up in Apple Valley, and they found her dead in her house a few days ago.
Oh, no.
I should be laughing, but... And he's like, so I'm going to be going up there a lot lately. That's why I'll be headed that direction.
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, right? And I was like, oh, dude, I am so sorry, man. I'm so sorry to hear that. And he's like, yeah, it's been kind of stressful. And I was like, yeah, I can imagine, man. I've lost a parent. I get it. Sure. And he's like, yeah, and I'm the youngest of like X amount of siblings. And, in the will, like she left pretty much everything to me and left it up to me to like divvy out everything. I was like, oh, man, that's tough. And he's like, yeah, so now all my siblings are hitting me up. What are you going to do with the house? What are you going to do with the car? What are you going to do with this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, it's rough, man. I get it. Again, this is horrible, but I'm not asking questions.
Right, yeah.
Because I don't know this guy. Like, and if I'm being frank, I didn't want to hear this.
Yeah, well.
I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but like, I don't know you. This is literally the second conversation we've ever had.
This is like it's rough, especially on people you don't know well, but they immediately offer those like sob stories or not. Sob stories sound so crass, but it's like
it's heavy shit.
Yeah, like out of nowhere almost. I have customers where like the property manager will do that or something like that. I'll be chatting and like, oh yeah, how the generator? It's good. Yeah, my brother died yesterday. I'm like, what? I mean, that's just an example. Like,
no, but no, you're right. It's like it's heavy shit when you're not on that level.
What? I'm sorry. Like, I'll pray for you, I guess. I don't know.
So I was doing that whole like, oh man, yeah, it sucks. It's stressful. That's crazy. And he's like, yeah, man, just the way she died, like it was. I forgot how he transitioned. And he's like, get this. He's like, a few weeks ago, and I forgot if it was his sister or like his cousin, a female relative of his. And this comes back to how they found his mother dead. He was like, she lives up in Washington, and her husband shot her, and then there's a standoff with police, and then he put the gun in his mouth and killed himself. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, that's rough. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, my mom didn't know about it, and so someone told her about it this last week, and so she was like older woman, but she's like capable, so she like packed her car up. And they could tell that the car was packed up, like she was going to drive up north, but she must have died on her way to the car or something because they found her like in the hallway outside the garage.
Oh my God.
And I was like, shit, dude, that's rough. I was like, oh, yeah, exactly. Your reaction right now. I was like, whoa.
Wow.
And granted, this was one of those days, like it was a long day. And so I was just kind of like, oh man, I'm sitting there with like the soda bottle in my hand, just like, I just want to. And then I forgot what he said, but he started talking about how, like I said, his siblings are all coming to him asking what he's going to do with the car, the house, the money, etc. And he's like, it's just a lot. And I was like, you know what, dude, I get it. Like when my grandma died and my grandpa died, my mom had to deal with a lot of that shit. I was like, when her dad died, she had to deal with a lot of that shit too, with like property and stuff. And he's like, well, let me tell you about my dad. And I was like, oh, God.
Here we go.
And he was like, when my dad died, he moved to San Diego, and when he passed away, like people that knew him were just going in the house and taking shit. And I knew that because I knew the neighbor, and the neighbor was like videotaping them and sending me the videotapes. And I was like,
wow, okay.
I was okay. Like I was like, oh, it sucks. Like I don't know what to tell you, bro. And he's like, yeah, but you know what? It's probably good because like my mom and my dad separated. And my dad had all the money, but we all stuck with my mom because my dad was, kind of a piece of shit. So I had all this privilege, but then I put it aside to live with my mom. And since then, I've worked hard. I'm a welder. I've welded for this city of blah, blah, blah for years. And I made something of myself without my dad's help, even though he was rich and blah, 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 blah. And I was like,
union?
Fuck if I know. I didn't ask questions.
Oh. Yeah.
But he worked for some school or something. So then he goes on to the city I live in. I'm going to leave that aside. The city I live in, how he worked for the school for years, and how I forgot how he even transitioned to it, but like the city is a corrupt city, how the home development down the street or down the road like didn't have the right criteria, but then a bunch of city council members bought it and they fixed all this shit that wasn't supposed to be fixed. And he just went in this rant. And I was just like,
He should start a podcast. I mean, just go name names. Fuck it. Like,
well, it was just I was like, I've never understood this concept of just unloading.
I can't remember if it was the last episode or the previous. I had mentioned my no, it was when we were talking about that psycho in the store and all that. How to get out of when people are just unloading on you. And I told you about how my wife and I have that system where when we go to pay rent. And we have to talk to our manager because she's that way. Like 100%. She will unload the deepest, darkest depths of her life. And you're just standing there like, oh my God. I mean, thoughts and prayers? I don't know. Like what?
I should have said that, yeah.
But yeah. Now you know he's one of those. There's usually a term for that.
We'll come up with something. But yeah, so I remember, I'll try to be, I guess I'll be kind of vague about it, but like the window that was closest to me goes in the house is where like my lady works out. And at this point, I'm not really sure if she's home or not.
Nice.
But in my head, I'm like, is there some small chance that she'll look out the window and see me dying.
Yeah.
And she didn't.
Yeah.
I forgot she wasn't home or not. But yeah, so eventually I threw away my bottle and I kind of did the whole like, clearly I'm trying to walk away, but I'm too nice to just say goodbye. So he was like, anyway, yeah, man, like, and there's a lot more to this too. He ranted about a lot of other shit.
Yeah.
But eventually he was just like, okay, yeah, well, man, sometime you should come over, have some beers. And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then when the in-laws came and stayed with us because they had to move down here and there was some time before they could move in their house, first thing I said to my father-in-law was, don't you dare talk to that man again. I was like, don't you dare.
You can. He can all he wants. I won't. But no, go.
I was just like, God damn it, man.
You had to. We were having a good thing going. Now you're living next to him. Now you own a house next to that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way to go. There was one thing that you said that was pretty amazing. We've heard the term that the vagina people like to use called resting bitch face.
The vagina people?
Yeah.
Like women?
Yeah. Resting bitch face. And it's like, resting bitch face, whatever. You said resting dick face, which,
yeah,
like, I knew what you meant, but the concept of resting a dick on your face is kind of funny.
That's a whole nother, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Anyway, your grocery store callback to, because we got started on a whole 15 items or less thing. And I have a story for you that happened, and it would be a nothing story. And
I have one too. I have one too after you.
But okay, so we're at the store, we're buying shit, and we're in line, and there's 2 lanes open. This is just a regular grocery store, the express line and a regular line. And in the regular line is like just full of people and their kids, like with carts full of whatever. My wife and I, we have more than 15. We got like 20, 30, so we're over. And
sure.
So we're waiting in the regular line. I'm like, this is a bummer, but whatever. I see that the express line is open. Done. The guy in the express line sees the line packing up. And so he walks over, and I'm like, oh, God damn it. And he walks over, and he looks at me because I'm next to start loading my stuff on the thing. The lady in front of me is just like loading, so I'd be next. He comes up to me, he's like, hey, I can take you over at the express line. Let me take you over to the express line. And I was like, I have... And this is my dumbass in the middle of the store in front of everyone. I'm like, I have more than 15. Is that okay? And
no,
he's like, yeah.
That's fine. On. No, you did the good. No, you're fine.
So I'm like, okay, and so I walked over, and this dude is like Johnny on the spot. He's like unloading my cart for me, like helping me like unload, and he's like, I'm the fastest cashier here. I'll ring you up, faster than anyone, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay. I just, I'm that guy that is always judging people that that have no, granted, there's no one else in line. It's just me in the express line. And he's like, I'm the guy who's always judging people with more than 15 eyes. He's like, oh, yeah, no problem. So he starts ringing me up, starts going through, and 4 people start coming up behind me with 1 or 2 items. And they're looking at all my shit in the thing. And, of course, one of my items is from the deli, a meat, order, a few pounds of, pork, that the thing won't scan. So I'm there with my 20 items or more. And my shit is getting lined up, and you had to take it out of the bag and add it up and do the thing. And I was just like, oh, it was terrible. And the whole time, I look up and I see you, Mike, behind the counter. Just
no. See, you're wrong though, because you did the right thing. The guy is the one who invited you over.
Of course, but it was God that made sure that I stood out, and everyone else looked at me and thought, yeah. 20 items in the express line. I just got my milk. I just want to go, bro.
See, I say this now, but if it were me, I would be that guy who I'd almost subtly turn back and be like, look, I was in the other line. Trying to tell people.
Right.
I was look, I know, I'm not over 15. He told me to come over. That wasn't mine. It was my choice. And then
because I cared that much about the people behind me in the grocery store.
No, yeah. And truth be told, they probably don't even give a shit, but you care. So now they're annoyed by you that you're trying to talk to them.
It's like, I'm sorry. I was in the, and they're like, sorries don't help, bro. Sorries don't help. Now it's worse that you apologize.
Sorry doesn't lower the count of your grocery item, does it?
The time you spent apologizing could be time you get your card out, bro. It was dumb. But anyway,
I could already be out of here by now.
I could be out of here. Oh, you had to get vodka, didn't you? You had to get carded. Yeah, it was embarrassing.
No, I actually. So your story is a little more lighthearted. Mine, I got really fucking mad. I think I posted in our group chat about it.
You're in a dark mood today, bro.
I'm not. No, I'm not. It's just a funny story. No, I actually got really mad. Like, not seriously mad where it ruined my day, but like petty mad where I was like, oh, fucking course. Like, you get mad, but it makes you laugh.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I was like, of course. These people, Express Lane story. And this actually, I was actually kind of like, this bitch. They had this woman had one cart. She was with her daughter. Her daughter wasn't like young, like she was capable. She was like 15 or 16 or something.
Okay.
Maybe 14. Anyway, she was capable.
Perv.
And capable as in can take care of themselves. Mitch.
I didn't say a thing.
You did. You literally did. No, so they clearly had more than 15, like way more than 15.
Okay.
And so I rolled my eyes and I was like, whatever. But I heard her like kind of chatting to her daughter, and she was like, I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, split it into 2 transactions because we have more than 15.
Huh. Okay.
So
it defeats the purpose. It takes longer. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, no, the point in my head, it's kind of like, okay, so we've discussed people who do things wrong but don't know better.
Yes.
So if you're driving slow in the fast lane and you don't know any better, you're wrong, but at least like, okay, he didn't know.
Okay.
So when I see people like with 30 items going through the express lane, I get irritated, but there's a chance that they just didn't see the sign, they don't understand, whatever. Yeah. This bitch knew.
That's so amazing. No way.
This bitch knew, and I saw her, the conversation she had with the kid, I kind of only heard bits of, but I saw her giving her daughter cash to pay for the first round, and then she paid the second round with cash. Because I was mulling in my head, I was like, maybe she won 2 different transactions, so that only X amount went on her card. No, it was all cash, and she split it into 2 different transactions to try to quote-unquote loophole it. I don't know. But the fact that this bitch knew the rule.
She knew it.
She knew what she was doing.
Yep.
I was like, are you fucking serious? I don't know.
Oh my God.
It's petty mad, but I was irritated.
No, that's not petty mad. That's legitimate. I'd start yelling. I wouldn't start yelling, but I feel like I should start yelling at that. It's like, come on. And I've even talked about, like, if you go to a line where there's less people, if there's one person with a shitload of stuff, it's faster than 2 people with less stuff, because the cashier, the time of wait is on the person paying. I've said this in the previous episode. I'm going to say it again because everyone needs to know this. Also, when you merge the zipper, dicks. Anyway, but when you
yes, it's
faster when there's less people. The fact that she's like, oh, we have more than 15, it'd still be faster. But she split it up, so that's 2 transactions.
I thought of that too.
Transactions. Yeah. There's 2 baggings. Yeah. Anyway.
Actually, tangenting, kind of funny story. So I remembered you saying that. I've actually kind of applied it depending. I was at Costco Business Center the other day. It's Costco, anyone can go in, but it's like catered towards businesses. And there was because Costco, you're going to wait in line. There's no express lane.
Yeah.
You're fucked either way.
Yeah.
But look, the Costco Business Centers aren't as busy as regular Costco's. By glance, there's 3 lines open. 2 of them had like maybe 4 or 5 people each. Maybe 3 people, either way, with kind of half-filled carts. And there's one with one person ahead of me with like maybe like 20 items. And I was like, oh, cool. Like that has more items, but not as many people. So I got in that line. Mm-hmm. And it took forever.
Yeah.
They had to like renew membership. One of their things wasn't scanning. No. It was all this shit. And I was like, of course. Of course. Yeah. I was like, I went by Mitch's guidelines.
And of course he hit the
and of course
I'm not saying every time. Not saying every time.
It just made me laugh. Like I wasn't even mad. Like I said, it's when you get mad, but it makes you laugh. And so like I'm already close enough. Like I'm literally the next person, but I'm like looking at other lines, and I was like, oh yeah, dude, the blue hat is already done. I would have been behind him. I was like, doing that whole thing.
I think I spend too much time getting to the root of why I feel the way I do. Like I think maybe it's just the I don't know if it's the writer, the philosopher, or the actor side of me. It's like, okay, what is it about traffic that makes me so crazy? What is it about waiting in line at checkouts that make me so crazy? And I realize it's like one of my things that like drives me nuts is that I try so hard to be to not be a burden on the people around me. When I'm in traffic, I'm checking to see whatever it is. So there's this weird philosophy or outlook that I have that when you're in traffic, or anytime you're driving, really, you are limited to how fast the people in front of you allow you to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could say it's a speed limit, but 90% of the time driving in California, you can only go as fast as the people in front of you. How long you wait in the store is not dependent on the people that work there. It's the other patrons and how slow they move. It's you are hindered by the people around you. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I started biking to work. My office is like 3-4 miles away, so it's a 5-minute car ride or a 15-minute bike ride. So I started riding my bike to and from the office.
Okay.
And I realized, holy shit, I can go as fast as I can. How fast I get there is entirely up to me. I'm not dependent on a street light or the slow driver in front of me. It's just completely me. Granted, it takes longer, and it's really fun in the summertime. But I don't know. It was kind of a weird, like, freeing kind of realization. And I'm like, you know what?
Well, I think it was kind of like we talked about in the traffic episode, I guess we can call it. I think I mentioned getting stuck at an airport for a layover. And it's not necessarily about the timing. It's about almost the control.
Yeah. Yeah, being out of your hands. Yeah.
Yeah, to where if you're stuck in, dead-ass traffic, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
Even if you know the side routes and the side routes are backed up, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
If you have a layover for 3 hours that you were not prepared for, in an out of state, you weren't prepared for it, and you can't do shit. I think that's the thing. To where because I think you said it in the traffic episode last week that I forgot your example, but you drove like 5 hours from like
from here to Mammoth. I would drive to Mammoth. I would drive 5 hours to Mammoth anytime before I would do 2 hours to Malibu. No way. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And because at least when you're open driving, you're in control. You have the choice. You can do whatever you want. It takes longer, but you're in control.
Fast, slow, it's up to you.
Yeah, when you're bumper to bumper and can't do shit, it's just maddening because it's like not in your hands. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and apply that to grocery shopping.
Yes.
There's never a wait. In the store, there's never a wait because one of the employees have a problem. Can you think of one? You know what? And like and comment. If you can comment and give us a story of a time that things were slowed down because of an employee, not another patron.
I would say, with exception, I would agree with you. With exception on like holidays.
Okay, yeah. Well, maybe.
Like if you go into the grocery store on Christmas Eve, you're gonna have a fucking wait.
Right.
But on the regular day,
all the other people paying with exact change and checks and shit.
But no, you're right. On any other day, it's up to other patrons. No, I 100% agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of my Express Lane story.
And then, so kind of a wholesome story happened recently.
There we go.
When we're talking about waiting, inconveniences, out of your control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I went to the gas station on my way home. And right, the Shell right by the bar. Pulled up to one station.
You're really like keeping it vague. People are gonna be like, Ranch Cook one. Shell
the thing that the people that watch this know who I am. They know what it is. But just in case, I always keep it vague.
Justin say there's an ex-girlfriend out there that's like, where the fuck is it? No. But anyway.
Well, you never know. People are nuts. And so I went to the Shell, and when it pulled up to the first station, tried to get my card, my debit card. It didn't decline. It just said like transaction failed or some shit. I was like,
Okay, yeah.
I tried like again, transaction failed, or error or something. I was like, huh. So I got my credit card, did that, same shit. I was like, fucking Christ. And then the next station over, the guy just pulled away. So I got in my car. I just did a quick UE over there. It didn't do the same thing, but like it just said like thank you for your order or thank you for doing business, and it was just frozen there. And I was like, the fuck. And as that's happening, a guy from the gas station comes out, and he's the station I was at on the other side was talking to that guy about how it's not working.
Okay.
And so I was like, hey man, and someone pulled into the spot that I was in, and it wasn't working for him. And I was like, hey man, it wasn't working there, and it doesn't look like it's working here too. I think something's wrong with your system. And the guy's like, oh shit. And he goes in, and I was like, in my head, I was like, all right, their system's down. Having worked at the bar when like the system crashes at the bar, it's fucking panic. Like it's horrible. Because so imagine going to a restaurant and like you gotta go. You're done with your meal and you have to be somewhere, and the server tells you, and all you have is your card, and the server tells you, I'm so sorry, sir, our system is down right now. We're trying to get it back up. So the customer gets pissed off, like it happens, and then like it's anytime systems go down, it's horrible. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go to another gas station. But I go inside to grab a soda and some snacks, and like some people came inside to like say, hey, the pumps aren't working, and you could tell the guys like freaking out. Oh my god, they're trying to call their manager. The manager like apparently just got there, so he was walking in. And what was cool about it, why I'm telling this story, is that not one customer was pissed off. Like normally, like in my experience at the bar, people are like, "This is bullshit. We want to get the fuck out of here." Blah blah blah. But like, not one person was giving them shit.
Interesting.
It was just so like refreshing.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Because even like I go to that shell quite often, and so they don't know me, but like they know my face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they're like, "We're so sorry." And I was like, "Tell you what, just ring me up for the snacks, man. Like I'll go somewhere else. Like it's cool." And he's like, "This never happens." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Dude, it's cool.
We're good, yeah.
I'll be back. Like shit's happening right now, but I'll be back. Like it's fine."
Oh, that's cool.
And then like someone, while I was bringing my shit up, someone else walked in and started talking to one of the guys. He's like, "I think something's wrong with the pump." He's like, "Yeah, something's wrong with our system. We're so sorry." He's like, "Okay, like do you know when it's gonna get back up?" And he's like, "We don't know. This rarely happens. Like it might be 10 minutes. It might be 20 minutes." And he's like, "All right, I'll wait around for like 10 minutes. We'll see." And just walks back out. God. And I was like, I just remember thinking, I was like, this is fucking refreshing.
How cool.
That people are not giving them shit.
Yeah.
I was expected like, fucking pitchforks and shit, but no. Awesome. They're just chill. I was like, this is awesome.
Do you ever like go in to get snacks and while you're waiting in line to pay for it, do you ever open the snacks or the drinks or something? Have you ever done that?
I did it once with chapstick.
Oh. Hey man, you chapped over here. It's gonna happen.
I was dry as fuck.
I remember.
But no, I typically don't. No.
Okay, me neither. I remember being a kid and my mom. We were in a grocery store or something, and apparently she was just parched, like dying. Like, and you know that when you're just dying, and you have your groceries, and she's like, I kids don't ever do this. And she grabbed a water out of one of the coolers next to the cashier, and I'm really young, and she opens it and starts drinking it before she paid for it, and I was like, and she paid for it, and she's all that, and I've seen that around, like people will open their packages and eat it, they're gonna pay for it, but they like eat it while they're in line, But.
I'll take it back. I did that at the grocery store once.
Oh, okay.
Where the line was as long, and I was kind of like whatever, and I started drinking it, and I just put it on the thing, and it was fine.
Sure, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, interesting. I was because we were telling that story. You went in to get some snacks and a drink or whatever, and I opened the snacks, and I can't pay for it with my card because the card's down.
That'd be uncomfortable.
That'd be
like, oh shit.
Yeah. Fun suburban living. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
No, okay. So I wrote this in. We have a group chat.
Yes.
Not to brag, all you listeners who wish you could be in our group chat, and whatever. We'll get a Facebook page going where we just, we post some of our better
screenshots from the chat,
or memes or whatever. But I posted this idea. It's a pretty interesting idea, especially with family culture the way it is today. What I said was a philosophy I've kind of come to on my own. Is not on my own. I'm sure everyone's their own. Okay, enough with the disclaimers. God damn it, get to the point. If you have a friend or a family member or someone you're just generally close to, classmate, workmate, whatever, coworker, whatever,
Workmate.
if you offer them advice on things like pointers or on how to do things the way that you think would be a good way to do it, and they hear you, but they're like, no. If they don't accept your advice, when things go wrong, they shouldn't expect your help. Real life example, I have an acquaintance who they're making major moves in their life right now. You know, the kind of the chapter changing decisions that you make in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And the family has kind of been like, hey, they seem like they're going about this way and that way and whatever. And so we offer advice to that person. Like, hey, we think this might be a good idea. We think this might be a bad idea. And not only does this person not, take advice, and oftentimes it takes the opposite path. And spoiler, things don't go well.
Is this when you say they take the opposite path, as in like they do it on purpose?
Not even on purpose. Just it's more of just like they're doing what they think is best.
Okay, I thought you meant like a lot of times there's some people that if you give them advice A, just because you said A, they're just gonna be like, you know what, fuck you, and do B. I thought that's what I thought you meant.
Fuck the real life example. I'm gonna give you a hypothetical that we've all run into. We have that friend who has this relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, and we tell them, dude, break up. It's terrible. Break up. So they break up, and they're like, don't go back. Just don't go back. Just cut them off. Well, I don't want to cut them off for friend. No, just cut that motherfucker off and be done. And what do? Every time they go back to the person or whatever and get, shocker, they get their heart broken, and you're like, you know what, you didn't listen to my advice. And so they come to you as your, the good friend, and like, help me, console me, give me, make me feel better. And it's like, go fuck yourself. You didn't listen to me the first time. Why should I help you now?
So I would say this. I think there is a middle ground in my opinion. So if
everything is absolute. Everything is absolute. No.
Black and white.
Yeah.
No. So I would say I agree with you to a point, like to where if I was, let's say me, you, and Danny were sitting down,
mm-hmm.
and Danny was talking about, and disclaimer, Danny's in a happy relationship in real life. But let's say that Danny was not. Danny was having problems, and Danny was telling us about it. I might offer unsolicited advice. Just say, hey, this is what I would do, bro. This is what I would do. And then going forward, if he did not do that and things got worse, I would just be like, okay, he didn't take my advice, so I'm not going to offer it. But if he did come to me and ask for more advice, I would give it.
Okay.
I wouldn't offer it, but
more
if he
advice.
asked me, I would give it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Another example, let's say you have a kid. Some fantasy world, you have a kid.
Sure.
And you tell the kid, hey, you should study. Hey, you should do your homework. You do your homework, you make sure you're doing your homework or whatever. And then the kid, it's not doing their homework, not studying. And then they come to you and say, hey, Dad, I have this project due tomorrow. Can you help me? It's like, well, you didn't listen to me when I was saying you should probably get ahead of this stuff or whatever. I'm not going to help you last minute because you didn't do it sooner. Maybe that's not as well thought out example, but.
Well, only because with that example, I would be the type if I had a kid. I'd be like, all right, look, you little fuck.
You're going to learn today.
Like, look, yeah, you fucked up, but I'm going to help you because I want you to succeed. Because if he gets a bad grade and it fucks up his grades, that's a long-term effect. So I would be like, all right, I'm going to help you, but like, let's learn a lesson here.
Okay. Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. To where if someone does take a blatantly different path than what you offered,
mm-hmm.
and then they come back to you for help, there is that thing of like, should I help you?
Yeah. Yeah. I see it happen in families a lot, not just mine, but like, it's not happening in my family. I don't know why. No, it happens in families where there's that one black sheep of the family that's kind of doing their own thing, and the rest of the family's trying to help. Like, hey, maybe you should get a job at here. Maybe you should ask for this promotion here. Maybe you should not hang out with those people. Maybe you should have a little bit more plan ahead. And then, when stuff's not working out, you see those same family members bending over backwards to help them along, help them get a job, help them graduate, or help them whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, well, I mean, at a certain point, they're going to have to start listening to the wiser people around them, right? It's not fair to just ignore counsel and then ask for help when things aren't working out.
I see what you mean, and I agree. I agree with you to an extent, because at some point, you have to, in my opinion, you do have to kind of go to that tough love thing.
Yeah.
To where it's like, look, if you keep, and I've gone through this with friends, and shit, I could remember early on in my early 20s, late teens, where I went through some shit, and I made mistakes.
Yeah.
And and I had friends and people who cared about me who were like, "Yep, you had to learn your lesson, didn't you?"
Right.
And I was like, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, there comes a point where like tough love, where it's just kind of like, and I could find examples, but I'm not going to bore you with those. But there was moments in my life where I was like, how much can I be there for this person when they're not going to listen to me, and it's now at my expense. Like I am now being affected by helping this person or trying to help this person. That's where it's like, all right, I'm done.
The quote I said in the group chat was, if they don't want my advice, then they shouldn't ask for my help when things go wrong. And it's a little bit more cold. But there's one of the guys I like to listen to on the radio is Dennis Prager. And one things that he constantly talks about is family relationships, and especially when a kid or something is an addict. If one of the kids in the family is an addict, and it's a big, problem, especially for the parents. The other siblings, they can cut off and they can be done and they don't have to worry about it. It's rough for the parents because the parents have that kind of unconditional love for their kids, or they try to anyway. But he there's this phrase he uses a lot that goes, don't let your family member, son, sister, brother, whatever, don't let a family member hold your happiness hostage. Which is it's easy to say, but
sure,
not even exactly in addict situations, but just general, criminal behavior. I don't know.
No, sure, and even it gets more complicated, and I'm not going to go into examples that I know of, but like let's go your addict example, and okay, so there's parents and their kid's an addict. Other siblings have cut that person off. But this kid, I say kid, but has their own kid. So this parent has a kid, like their children in their 20s. Kid has a child, and they're an addict. It becomes even more complicated because it's like, yeah, we can show tough love and cut this kid off, but what about their child?
Right. Yeah.
And so that's where you get a lot of people stuck in situations where they're trying to just help the grandchild.
Yeah.
And then indirectly or directly, depending on how you look at it, you're now enabling that parent. Or not the parent, but the addict. Yeah, because they're not going to learn their lesson because their parents are going to be there for their child.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so it gets. I mean, it sucks for parents because they want to be there, but yeah, at a certain point they have to guard themselves too. I guess that's why I'm saying is that I'm trying to be more of an advocate for the people that were there but were ignored, and then now they're expected, or not even expected, but now then they start offering the help, and I'm like,
And I think it's one of those things, we could sit here and talk about the philosophy behind it, but realistically, it depends on the situation, too.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, if it's something like, Mitch, how do I move this table into that room? You could probably just get a dolly. I'm going to use my hands. And then if I break a lamp, I'll be like, oh, Mitch, I broke a lamp. And you're like, all right, I'm going to bring my dolly over. I'm going to help you, Mike. Like, that's like whatever. But then if it's something like super heavy, then that's like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's oh shit, what was I gonna say? It doesn't matter. But, damn it, I had a really good point. I should have wrote it down. Oh well. No, just it does depend on the situation. And I remember. It's something that a healthy person, I think, should decide. If you have a friend that tends to be more asky than givey, or takey than givey. Taking seems so harsh, but someone who asks more than they offer, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
everyone I think falls on. If everything has a spectrum, there's the asking and the offering spectrum. Some people tend to be more offering. Some people tend to be more asking. If you have a friend or a family member that is very constantly asking for another way to help and another way to help, a good offerer should know what their cutoff is.
Sure.
Way ahead of time, because it's easy to go just one more little step.
No, sure, I agree with that.
But
completely agree with that.
I think my cutoff's a lot sooner than a lot of people's, but whatever.
No, it's good. No, and you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially depending on the situation. Like, I think...
And also, the line can be moved. I mean, if they're asking, but then offer, the line's going to move.
Sure. But I've historically been on the opposite side of that, to where I if someone asks me for help, I'm just predisposed to wanting to help them.
Sure, yeah.
Where, like I've suffered for it, both sometimes financially and mentally, where it's just draining on you. Like,
yeah, definitely.
And so there's been times, without going into too many details, where somebody that, against my better judgment and against everybody who talked to me about it, I was trying to help someone for years, trying to help them get going in school, this and that, all this other stuff. And there came a time where I was like, this is just too much. I'm done. And literally like that, it was just kind of like you said, this, you almost have like just a moment of clarity where it's like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was literally just like cutting a cord. And I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. It's hard to do, especially too, because it seems so out of nowhere for the other person. It's like, so yeah. I mean, I've had family and friends who are like, I don't know, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of and this and that. I always tell them, write it out, make a list of everything they've done. So if once you've seen it, that's just always been my helpful. Anytime I write it out and I see it written, it's pretty obvious.
Oh, sure.
But
and granted, and with all that said, I think it also depends on the person too, because like I've helped people in the past where they are 100% not trying to take advantage of you. They're just having a rough go. And,
sure. Oh yeah.
And so you help them, and like, not that it's the same thing, but I remember a buddy of mine for years, like I loaned him some money, and we're not talking about thousands of dollars, but like $50 here, $100 there. I forgot the amounts, but like for years, this guy would say like, yo, I'm going to pay you back. I'm so sorry. I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back. And I was like, you're good, bro. Don't worry about it. But I could tell in his heart that like he wasn't trying to take advantage of me. He was going to pay me back, etc. And then he just skipped out on it. It was weird. No, I'm kidding. No, eventually he got married, and at his wedding, I was kind of like, hey, our debts are square. You're good. That's the wedding present.
Oh, that nice.
And even he was like, are you sure? Like, I can still give you. I'll still pay you back. And I was like, nah, dude. We're good. We're good.
Do you have any friends or family that are just overly offering, like the other side of the coin? You ever run into this? I have a friend who, he's the coolest guy. It speaks to his nature because he's just that type. I had a broken laptop screen once, and this guy, this friend of mine, I won't say, I don't want to embarrass him, but this friend of mine like had found a replacement screen and what it would cost at the base level, found an eBay sale for the same kind of thing, found a best price, and downloaded the program for the manual to replace it. So he ordered the screen, all on his own. He's like, hey, by the way, I got this for you. You know, it's fucked up that you gotta do this, and I got this for you. Let's get it fixed. I was like, God damn, what the fuck?
Like, whoa, bro.
He did all this awesome stuff, and it's like, oh, he's just the coolest. He's the coolest, but yeah, but there's some people that it's like they so offer all the time that it gets awkward. Grandmas come to mind when it's,
yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'm visiting with my grandma. It's like, yeah, no, life's good. Rent just keeps going up, right? But that's just life, whatever. A week later, I have a letter in the mail with a check for a couple $100. Like, yeah, you said rent was high. I was like, God damn.
I didn't have a grandma like that, unfortunately. My grandma was sweet as hell, but no, I honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I know a lot of giving people, but nobody that's like over giving. And that's not to insult anyone. I don't know fucking offering people. No,
No. I mean,
like I know
it can be just as awkward.
Yeah, well, I know like
rarer, but
Danny, for instance, is always there to help at a drop of the hat.
Yeah.
If he can. Eddie doesn't give a shit. He's not gonna. No, I think
Eddie can't be here today. He's actually giving a testimony for the Enron investigation.
He's in Washington right. He's in Washington right now talking at the January 6th hearing.
Yeah, he was subpoenaed, and apparently January 6th had something to do with Enron, and that's why he's there. So anyway.
I just thought, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie was there on January 6th. not rioting, just there.
He was protesting the protesters. He'd be with like the Burning Man crew that's like, yo man, QAnon sucks.
Well, not even that. You know how like people for years, I think I bitched about it in a previous, like I used to go to raves, and the rave scene kind of died when people just started coming for the party. And then even like Coachella.
Wait, then what else is there?
Well, no, it's like you just know my point in a second. Like Stagecoach, for instance. I know people who don't even like country who just go to Stagecoach because they're like, oh, it's a party, we're gonna go.
Okay.
I think Eddie just went to January 6th for the party. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, just to be clear, everyone, Eddie was not there. We were just saying, if we
to our knowledge, to our best knowledge,
if Eddie were there, it'd be because the vibe was good, man. Just
the vibe was good.
The good energy, The motivation was wrong, but the vibe was good.
No, I think Eddie's actually a pretty giving guy. He has a good heart. Yeah. But I don't think anyone I don't think anyone I know is annoyingly giving or offering.
Like you can't complain about things because they offer help to, It's like, oh man, work's a bitch. My boss is and
I will say she listens every now and then, and if she's listening now, which is a long shot. My mom in the last couple years has been
Hi, Mrs. Glennie. Hi.
Giving to me only because after my dad passed in 2017, get a down low moment. No, after he passed, she had a lot of this shit because it's a whole story about like my family had to like move in and out of the house. Anyway, she had a lot of this old shit that he had and they kept that she had to get rid of. And like my two sisters really didn't care. They don't really care about like history, like or historical shit. So all of a sudden she started coming out of the woodwork. Hey, we got this. We got this. We got this. Like, fuck the Confederacy, but like I have Confederate money that she found and had framed.
Oh wow!
And I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
This is cool.
Okay.
She found what else?
Fuck the Confederacy.
Fuck the Confederacy, cool. But like, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, it's cool. She found. Right, she found some. It was like a letter. I don't think I have it, but I remember she showed it to me, or someone showed it to me, like a letter that was it James Stewart, the actor?
Yeah.
Like, because I guess my dad's father, someone did a service for him. It was like something small, and so Jimmy Stewart like wrote a letter to my grandma on my dad's side, wishing my grandfather well or something. I forgot what it was, but I was like, that's fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like, all right, that's cool. Oh
my god!
So she started just bringing me this shit, and like even is it right here? Like this thing right here, this letter.
Yeah, look at that beige thing right there.
So that's a ceremony program for the inauguration of FDR.
Whoa! No way.
Yeah, and this she gave us that like a month or two ago for my birthday. She just brought it in. She's like, hey, check this shit out. I was like, that's cool. I was like, all right.
No big deal. Like what the fuck? Oh
yeah.
My god.
And then
I love that.
I forgot there was some stopwatch, like old stopwatch she showed me, like this old cool shit. Like the last couple years, almost every time she comes over, she's like, "Oh hey, I found this," and I'm like, "Oh great!"
Oh my god, you could be sitting on a treasure chest here, man. Like that. That's some pretty awesome shit.
No, yeah, I thought like, granted, I don't really like. In the long run, it's like it's nothing to me. Like I don't really like. I wasn't a huge FDR guy or anything, but I wasn't around.
I'll take it. Shit.
No,
like,
but
I'll take it.
But that my point is like that shit's kind of cool. Like the Confederate money, like obviously fuck the Confederacy, but like that's kind of cool.
I'm moving to North Carolina, dude. I'll take it. You know it's worth something there.
Right. No, but like that kind of shit, she'll just like find and give to me, and I'm like, that's cool. So like she's a goat. She's
Hold on. I'm sorry. I like muted out there for a second. I started getting a call.
Oh, sorry. No, I said like
back,
she.
15 seconds.
No, I just said like she's always doing that shit now. So like that's dope. I call her the GOAT, the real MVP.
Yeah.
Of giving me old shit.
The one semester I spent in theater school, the coolest note I ever got, was when I did a scene and the professor at the time said, "You remind me a lot of Jimmy Stewart." And then, like, I didn't hear anything else from that point on. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm done. I've made
It's over.
I'm
That's
done.
I need to find the Jimmy Stewart thing. I forgot what it was.
Jimmy
It was like
Stewart letter.
it was something like wishing, or it was to my grandpa wishing my grandma well. It would be like if like you were an accountant and you did Jimmy Stewart's taxes. I don't know. And so he wasn't like your friend, but he knew you.
Yeah.
It was something like that. To where he wrote, it was either my grandma or my grandpa, my dad's side. Like, I hope you're doing well or something. I forgot what it was. It was kind of a cool little thing. I was like,
yeah.
Cool.
So you've seen Hateful Eight, the Quentin Tarantino Hateful Eight?
Yes.
Okay, so you're like the theater version of Kurt Russell in that movie, carrying around his Lincoln letter. Because in the movie, Kurt Russell's guy's like letter from Abraham Lincoln. You're like walking around with your letter from Jimmy Stewart, and and I gotta put Mary Todd to bed or whatever the shit. And Jimmy Stewart, oh Mary, I got Mary, blah blah. But
if I find it, I might have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, just carry it around. Be like, the Jimmy Stewart letter, the Jimmy Stewart letter. Oh,
you wrote to my grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he write a letter to your grandfather? Oh.
Oddly pro-slavery. It was really weird, but no.
Look, I'm not saying the contents are good, but he wrote a letter.
He wrote a letter. What do you want? Jimmy Stewart, a known pro-slavery actor. He's
Are you being serious?
No.
Oh, for a second I was like,
no. I was
like, is Mitch actually
Jimmy
saying
Stewart,
this?
Jimmy Stewart literally never sinned once in his entire life. Jimmy Stewart's just.
I believe it.
He lied about his age so he can serve. Or no, he didn't lie. That was someone else. But no, he served during World War II and all that. He's an awesome Jimmy Stewart. He's awesome. Anyway, terrible actor. Let's be real. Come on, he played himself in every fucking role he did. But we love that role.
I mean, this could be an episode. Or this could be a topic for the next episode. We can record another one after this.
I'm busy that day.
Actors that are legends that are actually not good actors.
Yes, 100%. Hey, teaser
for the next
I'm
episode.
Write that down. I'm gonna start thinking about it.
Or a future episode.
The next episode or a future episode. Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for listening to our ramblings, everyone who listened. All seven.
We covered
of you.
a lot.
Yeah, we
covered
did.
a lot. Yeah.
And we hope to see you next time.
Yes, indeed.